Welcome to the podcast, Lyndi. I am so happy to chat with you. How are you today?
Good. And you, I'm so happy to be here and to see
Me
your face.
too. I know, me too. So, we're going to be chatting all about starting product-based businesses and, maybe we can venture into a few other topics. And I know you are a very multi-passionate entrepreneur. Before we dive into
Yeah.
that, can you just introduce yourself and just tell everyone, your name and your business and what you do?
Well, my name is Lyndi Gallegos. I'm a over full-time hairstylist. No, I'm just kidding. And I just I work for myself in Rockwall, Texas. Um, and right now I sell handmade bags in my shop and online from Colombia and some clothing from Tulum.
Nice. And what is your product business called?
Chat para ti. And it means for you in Spanish.
I love it. And I would definitely want to talk about your business because I have one of your bags and it's so fun and so pretty. And I did get to wear it on my Caribbean trip recently. And I was like, finally, I can wear your fun bag. Um, but yeah, I would love to just talk about your journey a little bit because I know that you've started multiple businesses and, you currently have, think two, but you might have more. I don't know. I feel like you have lots of businesses. What was your first business? So take us back to whatever your first business was. What was the business? What did you sell? Kind of walk us through like what that looked like.
So my very first business was doing hair. I was working at a commission salon and then I decided to booth rent on my own and I still continue to do that. So along with doing that, I wanted to grow and I wasn't sure like if I wanted to like grow a salon or a product-based business. And this girl that I know, she actually retired doing hair and she was selling stuff on Amazon. And I was like, wow. And I personally knew her. So I'm like, I reached out to her. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you retired from hair and now you're selling this product. Like, this is really cool. I didn't want to like retire from hair, but I kind of wanted to see what my other options are to maybe slow down because I do work long hours, like 12 hours a day on my feet is a lot. So, yeah. And I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. So I kind of wanted to scale back a little bit if possible. So I started looking into Amazon. And um, at the time, I had a dog named Sparky. I took this whole program of like how to sell on Amazon, which was a really, really good program teaching
Mhm.
you how to sell on. And it was at the point where it was starting to get really saturated. Didn't know that, but Amazon's a whole nother beast. But anyways, I started that and I got a really good product. I got inspired from my dog, Sparky. And he died 2020 or no 2019 from cancer, which was terrible.
Oh,
And I yeah, it was really hard. And I started a business called Sparky Time, like after him. So my vision was to do like a whole bunch of dog toys, dog beds, anything dog related that a dog would need,
mhm.
and sell on Amazon. And I started with dog toys, and it was so cute. It was like a jungle set of four, and it was doing really good. But um, after year of doing it, it was more of like a wash because of the marketing that goes in it and the cost to keep up with the marketing on Amazon and so forth. It was just not profiting. So it was a hard thing to let go, but I had to let that go. Maybe I'll come down to it. I don't know. But so I had to close that chapter of Sparky Time.
Mhm.
And then I was down a rabbit hole on YouTube. I was like, okay, well, what else can I do? Because I'm always just thinking and growing. And I don't like to just sit still. I want to start something and make it succeed. And so I was like, what am I going to do next? So then here I am on YouTube. I found you on YouTube and I was like, oh wow, like she did this like
Oh, is that
box.
how you found me? I don't think I remember it because I feel like you reached out to me. It was a long time ago. So that's
Uh-huh.
so funny. I didn't know that. This is why I love YouTube. It's the best.
You can connect with people. Yeah, and look at us now. Did your program and now on your
Yeah.
podcast.
I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, then I met you and then you gave me some, ideas of like doing the sand and land, the Jeep business.
Hmm.
And yeah, and I started that with Printful and so forth. And that was going slow, slower than I expected. It was print on demand.
Hmm.
So I was like, "Man, this isn't moving." I was like, well, gave it some time and I don't know. My passion wasn't behind it. I had a Jeep and it was just like always, coming up with the designs and so forth. So I'm like, man, this isn't, I was like, I don't know. It just wasn't.
What could I have?
Oh, look, yeah, you got it. See, that's so cool. I know. So I was just like, all right, well, let me try this. And wasn't really picking up traffic. I was like, man, and working my over full-time hair job, I just didn't have the time to like really focus on that.
Hmm.
So then I was in Tulum, Mexico, and I got like this really cool bag there. And I got so many compliments on it. And I was like, I don't know. I just this idea popped in my head when I was like walking into church. I was like, and I sat down. I was like, told my husband, I was like, what if I start selling these bags? And I'm always just thinking of things to sell. And like here, I have one of the bags right here. So
Oh,
pretty.
so pretty.
Yeah, they're all just so different. So, I thought about it. And then we were about to go to Isla Mujeres in Mexico again. And I was like, Robert, that'd be kind of cool to see if we can find out like where we can get these bags, because I found it in Tulum about a year ago from when this idea popped in my head. And he's like, yeah, let's figure it out. So then I ran across a really cute boutique in Isla Mujeres, and the owner's name is Matthew. And Robert's like, well, why don't you ask him where you can find these bags? Because I didn't see them in there, but he had like some really cool, stylish items in his boutique. So I was like, you know what? Sure, let me ask him. So I asked him, and he's like, yeah, this at my other location on the island, this girl named Anna, she knows where to find them. She has a bag herself. And I'm like, what? That's so crazy. So then the next day, I went over there, met up with Anna. She knew I was showing up. He told her. And then next thing you know, she connected me with her supplier and I got some bags from her that she currently had while I was there on the island. And
Hmm.
then I brought them back to the US to my clients at my studio and to see, I'm like, let me see if my clients like them. And um they fell in love. And I have tons of clients that buy like they'll come in and then they want a different color or this color. So in
Hmm.
person has worked better for me and working with the clientele that I already have due
Yeah.
to me not having the time to set aside for the marketing and so forth. So I've been working with the clients that I had to help grow my business, and it's been really good. So
Oh,
this has
okay.
taken going really well for me.
I love
Yeah.
that. I want to backtrack a little because I feel like you mentioned three different businesses here very casually. So let's backtrack a little. You're
Yeah.
so funny. You're like, yeah, I just started a business and then I started another one. For so many people, starting a business that it's not so easy. It's like they go under the analysis paralysis mindset of, oh my God, there's so many decisions. What do I sell? How do I do it? Where do I find product? So I first love about you that you really are so like tenacious and you have this mindset of I'll figure it out. So I
Okay.
really like that about you. And I remember I remember when you reached out to me and we did a one-to-one call. And I want to say had messaged me about doing something with hair, like a hair subscription box. And then we were chatting. And then you decided to do the Jeep product idea, which I still love, by the way. And in the middle of you talking, for anyone listening, I bought one of Lyndi's hats with a Jeep on it because I have a Jeep Wrangler and I'm obsessed with the Jeep Wrangler. So I love all things Jeep. But one thing that I want to point out that I think is really important and very interesting is you talked about the pet business, and it seemed like you're really passionate about it. You know, it was created after your dog, you know, and all that. And I totally get that because my first business was also in the pet space and completely inspired by my dog Asha. So I love that, you know, dogs do have such a special place in our heart. And I think so many people that have a dog that means so much to them, they end up starting pet businesses and can do really well. But you seem really passionate about that. And then with the handbag company, I feel like when you're talking about the handbags, you kind of light up a little bit. Like you can tell there's a lot of passion and excitement. But when you were talking about the Jeep, the print on demand, so you mentioned you started a brand called Sand and Land, I think it was called. And you said it was through Printful. So for anyone listening, Lyndi started a print on demand shop using Printful or Printify. So basically you have a design for clothing, you upload it, and then you can sell t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, whatever. And when a customer orders the Printful, it's like a third party will print and ship it for you. So it's kind of like drop shipping, but it's mainly, not mainly, but it's mostly like sweatshirts, t-shirts, apparel, but you can actually sell mugs, notebooks. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on. But what you mentioned about that was you said like the passion was not there. You said something along the lines of like, I just wasn't passionate about it. And that's so interesting to me because I've heard that from other people multiple times. You have an idea, you go through all the work of starting a business, and then you launch it and you're just like, it's like, ugh, like you just don't want to do it because there's something about it that is missing. And I truly believe unless you start a business and someone else runs it for you, if you are not lit the F up about it, it's not going to work because you have to be excited about the business, not every day, because no one's going to be excited about their business every day, but if you're not, especially at the beginning, if you're not excited about it, there's something off. Like it's probably not the right business for you. So that really stood out to me when you were talking, because I think that's what happens to a lot of people. And for someone listening here, if that's you and you're just not excited about what you're selling, your lack of excitement, one, you're not going to be consistent on social media. You're not going to be consistent with the marketing. You're probably not going to be consistent with any of that because you're not excited about the business. And when you're not excited and you're not consistent, that's when sales don't happen for you. So I just wanted to point that out because that was a very interesting just observation that I made when you mentioned the 3 different businesses that you have. And, you know, that's the one that you started and stopped. You know, the pet business, I totally understand. Amazon is its own beast. And, you know, it sounded like maybe if you had continued that, or maybe you had branched out on different sales channels, you could have made it work. You know, it doesn't matter. You could always start another pet business, but Amazon is its own little beast. And I'm not an Amazon expert, but, you know, it can be hard. So yeah.
It is hard. Yeah, it's definitely, it was just getting oversaturated. I mean, it's great for anybody that has done it. And I know people that have been very successful, but really they had to quit their job. You know, everyone that I've talked to, and I just could not quit my job and focus on that, you know. But with the bags, it's like, it's so different, you know, and with the dog, okay, so with Sparky Time on Amazon, girl, I had beyond passion for it. I had so much passion that I didn't want to let it go. But I had to be smart about it to know that I have to close that chapter right now because I'm pouring way too much money into it. I wasn't financially smart to keep it at the moment. But with the purses, it's just so different, and and with the dog toys, a lot of people were selling dog toys. Everybody sold dog toys. So you're competing with a lot of people. So that made it harder. But with these bags, each one is handmade and each one is uniquely like has a different color, the rhinestones, everything about it. And I can customize it if a client was like, hey, I want these colors. And I tell the people in Colombia, like exactly what I want, and they can make it happen. And it's really cool. It's been a lot of fun because, I can see what my clients are liking and not liking on the colors, if they like rhinestones on them or not. And I have a lot of I do have some future like pop-up events that I had to like plan out in the future due to my work schedule, that I'm going to do. I'm really excited for that too. So there's just like been a lot of more opportunities with this. And I've learned from, the past businesses and my hair business of what I can do to make this successful too.
I love
The
that.
do's and Mhm.
What do you think are I want to backtrack again one more time. Sorry. So, because this stuff is really important. When you have a business that you are emotionally connected to, emotionally invested in, which was your pet business. And I know this happens for a lot of people. I sold my pet business, and when I was thinking about selling it, I felt it felt scary to not have this anymore. I had poured 3 years of my life into it, and it was such a huge part of my life. And it really felt like it was a huge part of my identity at this point. Like, who am I if I don't have this business anymore? And so at first, when I was thinking of selling it, I wasn't sure. I didn't know if I wanted to, because I'm like, what will I do? How do I give this up? It felt like a child almost. And for a lot of
Yes.
people, like they won't either sell it or close it or whatever because of the emotional hold that it has on them. What made you kind of realize, okay, I'm attached to this. It's, dedication to my beloved dog. How did you just feel like it's the right thing to do and part ways? Because I think for some people, they would just continue to lose money rather than just close it,
Yeah.
get rid of it or
Oh,
something else.
yeah. I mean, it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, because he was my world. Anybody that knows me and Robert, they know like he was everything to me. Girl, I had a full on funeral for him. Okay. I
Oh.
did. We had people praying over him. I mean, girl, you have no idea. So he meant everything to me. He was my world, everything. He lit me up. And when I lost him, I told him, I was like, I'm gonna make this work. And, it just makes me like emotional to think about it.
Mhm.
And, because I've really, really tried everything. I even reached out to Hollywood Feed to sell some of the toys in there, and they were considering it. And
Mhm.
they were like, but we need more options, of the toys and this and that. And I'm like, man, I just financially so tied up with all the other toys I have with it that I need to sell and so forth. And like I said, it was like a wash. So I sat down with Robert, my husband, and I was like, I don't want to let this go. And we just really just talked about it. Like, it's not, I know, to me, I felt like I was disappointing my child, Sparky. And I just, talked to him, I know, through God. And I was like, and I wrote him a letter. And I was like, I love you. I'll do, I tried everything I could to make this happen. And maybe we'll, come back to this, Sparky. But, right now I'm gonna put this on hold, and maybe I'll come back to it if it's meant to be.
Mhm.
But I just writing the letter and just like praying about it just really helped a lot to close
Mhm.
that chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sad. Um,
It
yeah, it can be hard, I think, for a lot of people. You pour so much, not even financially, just the emotional connection I think you have, and you put time in. I think it can be hard to justify, okay, I've put so much effort in. just the what ifs. What if I get into the Hollywood feed like pet store, or like, what if you just never know. So I think you keep holding on to a store. So I wanted to bring that up because I think it's a really important point. And I think it's really important to know when it's time to move on. It doesn't mean
Yeah.
that, it doesn't
You
mean,
just,
yeah.
you just have to listen, you just gotta really kind of like step back and be like, all right, God, what are you trying to tell me here? Like, this isn't going where I thought. I'm doing more than I'm trying to make something happen that's not going to happen.
Mm.
So to just take a step back and listen, and then now he's guided me in a different direction. So with the purses, and I know Sparky is so proud of me.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and what do you like? What, I know, obviously you were in my college product program, so I got to know you really well, throughout our time working together and our calls and all that. So I know a little bit about, you starting the business. What do you feel like makes this business different from the other two businesses? Maybe it's just, you enjoy selling the bags more, but I don't know. What do you think makes this one different on how you feel about it? Or maybe how you show up. Maybe how you show up is a better word to ask you.
That's because I have that, Robert was kind of like by my side when he was like, "Oh, this would be kind of a good idea." And I have a connection with like culture behind it, but helping people that are these are handmade, and I feel like I'm helping these artisans in Colombia that work so hard to make these, and it just has that connection, behind it. And it's really inspiring, and to see like all their hard work they put into just making, a bag. And it's not just something that I'm selling that, is from China
Yeah.
or or somewhere else.
Yeah.
I don't know, it just has more passion behind it, and I don't know.
I love that. Um, how did you, because I know the first business was Amazon, the second, the Jeep apparel was on Shopify. Shopify?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, and then the third business, the handbag business, was that, did you feel like it was easier to start this because you had already done two other businesses? So it was sort of like, okay,
Yeah.
I have already done the pet business. I've done this other business. Now the third idea, I can sort of take action quickly and just get started quickly. Do you feel like it was just easier for you with this time around, or was it sort of equally as hard?
I feel like it was easier because I kind of had the experience of like the failures with, the other two of like, that wasn't working or this worked. And, just doing, and then working with my clients really helped too, because, they know me and they know what I love. And they're like, oh, wow, this is so cool. These bags are really unique. And, you
Mhm.
know, it's just learning, like, and I'm walking around like carrying a bag. I've sold so many just like walking around. They're like, "Where'd you get that?" Like
Oh,
being out of town. Yeah. I took some bags when I was in Florida, and it
mhm.
was so crazy. I got so many compliments. I'm like, "Well, I brought some down here. Do you want to, see these bags?" I sold some, and then recently we went to Oklahoma to Broken Bow, and I sold some up there.
Oh my
It's
God,
just
that's so funny.
or like flowing better. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hasn't been challenging to market, and the bag sells itself too.
That's like that's what you want. I mean, so many businesses, it's so hard and painful to like get any kind of traction. And so when you have a business that people see the product and they literally come over to you, oh my gosh, where did you get that bag? I need one. I mean, that really is the secret sauce that you're looking for. So I think that's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, and it's like not you don't see this everywhere, so it's kind of like a one of a kind thing. And with the dog toys, a lot of, Sparky Time, a lot of people had dog toys. So what was different about mine? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was just story and, that was different. And, with the Sandiland, the t-shirts and the apparel, there was a lot of t-shirts out there. So it was like the competition was just higher on both of those. So with the bags, it's there, you don't really see these bags anywhere. So I feel like that really helps too, is that it's not everybody has it, you know?
And are you trying to do, because I feel like when you have a product that sells really well in person versus online, there's sort of like a twofold thing. One, working with your website and bringing that in-person experience that you would get if you go into a store on your website, which you have to do through. And that I talk about this all the time, like product photography and getting really awesome product photos and having multiple angles of things and having video. And, you need so much of that on a website to even get a percentage of what it's like to see a
Yeah.
bag in real life, because you can hold the bag, you can literally like put it on your shoulder and try it on in the mirror. You can see what it looks like, you can smell it, you can touch it. You can't do any of that for the most part. There are apps that you can try products on. I just bought Birkenstocks after obsessing about them for like 2 decades. I got my first pair of Birkenstocks and I went to the website and I was so impressed. And I've seen this before. This isn't the first time I've seen it, but I don't buy a lot of shoes. I hate shoes actually. And I was really impressed because there was a little app where it was like, try the Birkenstocks on. So I got to like hold my foot up and see what my foot looked like with different shoes. It was like, it's so cool. So again, I know this is not anything new. I've seen this on Amazon. I've seen this actually, if you go to any like a wayfair.com or like the home furniture websites, a lot of those
Oh,
you can see what the couch looks like in your house. So this is not a new thing, but when you have things like that on your website, you're making it easy for a customer to see what the product would look like on themselves or what it would look like in the house. Hence it boosts conversion rate. So it's really, really smart. And but when you have a product that again sells really well in person, then you kind of want to double down on that. Like, okay, cool. How do I get my bag in front of more people? So are you looking into doing more wholesale, getting products sold in stores? Like, how are you doing? What are you doing for that kind of a
yeah.
strategy?
So I thought about doing a wholesale. I was gonna look in because Dallas I live in Dallas, outside of Dallas. So they have a big like market center. And I thought about going there to set up for wholesale. So that is actually one of my things I plan on doing soon.
Oh,
Because
nice.
I think it's cool to have that other source of income selling it that way too. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of you can do with these handbags.
Mhm.
And, having my salon has helped a lot with my clients too, seeing them in person.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah. And sometimes it is just you build those relationships with people and you're using personal connections from your regular life and your other business. And then they come into the store and you're chatting with them and then they see these beautiful bags in the shelves and it kind of becomes an easy sale. So I think that's amazing. You need to get your stuff into more salons or, duplicate
Yeah,
duplicate little Lindys around promoting the bags in the shops. So
I'm trying. I know. Oh yeah, I know. It's been really good. I've really enjoyed it. It's moved the fastest out of all the businesses I've had. So it's been,
nice. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah. There, and I have a window room in my shop.
Hmm.
So I have like a little case with the purses, and
Hmm.
there's people that buy, and I'm not kidding you. I have people that come in and they're like, "I love these purses," and they just come in and buy them. So it sells itself.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
What are
Um,
what are like a couple things that I don't know, what are a couple things that you wish that someone had told you from the beginning when you started your first business? What advice would you have loved to receive that you kind of know now, like better now, but you didn't know back then? Does anything come to
Uh,
mind?
well, just really, because I remember when I started Sparky Time, I was like, I don't know, this isn't gonna, I don't know. I didn't really like believe in myself. So you just really have to just be patient with the
Mhm.
progress and believe in yourself. And because I had trouble with that. I was like, nah, I don't know if I can do this. And it was working, like I said, with the Sparky Time, but the finances, that's a whole nother, like it was becoming more of a wash. But if I just believed in myself better, I guess you could say, then I feel like, yes, I just give myself that advice and everything. Just believe in yourself and the product that you have, and it will happen. Just be patient. It
Yeah,
will happen.
that is good advice because I think a lot of people, they're looking to start a business and then they find, this person from YouTube who tells them, "Oh, start an Amazon store and I can help you make $10,000 a day
Oh,
passively." And so you watch their video and you believe, oh, well, if they can do it, I can too. And then you buy their course or whatever they're selling. And then you actually go and start your Amazon store and you realize quite quickly that's not those stories of the overnight success and making $1 million passively in 1 week. Like that doesn't really happen. And like, yes, it could happen to some people, but that's not the norm. And then you do it for a month or two and you slowly get discouraged. And then you think it's
yeah.
me. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do it. And then you quit. And really you just needed to stick it out longer and to stop believing these idiots from YouTube. So
Oh,
that's
yeah, absolutely. Because speaking of that, because I forgot about this other one I did. So speaking of idiots, this guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm so embarrassed to say how much money I invested in this program," but he was like, "Oh yeah, I will get your Amazon business up and running." Girl, that was a joke. You just gotta really believe in yourself. Don't trust anybody else that's gonna say, I'm gonna grow your business or do this and that. No, you have to figure it out on your own. Be patient and believe in yourself.
so what was it? I feel like I need to hear that. You don't have to share what you spent, but what was this like? He promised to start your store for you, or he promised to help you generate amount like X amount of revenue, or like what was the deal with that?
Oh yeah, he was going to pick out all these products. Like he markets like, oh yeah, this is the best seller. This one, look at these accounts. They make this much money, blah, blah, blah. And we just need this X amount of money, which was a lot of money, a lot, to start this Amazon business. And you'll get your return less than 6 months. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, this will be like passive income, what everybody talks about. Hands clean. I'm good. Just let them do all the behind the scenes work. No, lies. Oh my gosh. You live and learn, I guess. And that was a mess. So I shut that down.
Is that
It was,
you don't have to say who it is, but I'm definitely going to ask you after. Is this
yeah.
person still offering
Oh,
these
yeah.
programs? This is why I mean I sort of joke about these like the bro marketers on YouTube with their rented Lamborghinis.
Right.
But this is what these idiots do. They literally and they're so convincing. They're so
Oh,
convincing
yeah.
and they're preying on people and someone has this, I want to start a business and my life, I don't know, people that are maybe they're doing a 9 to 5 and they're bored or they just want to change in their life, like any of us. We just want to do something different. And then we get targeted by this idiot who
Yeah.
is, posing in front of his lime green Lamborghini. And I can make you make $20,000 per night on Amazon, drop
Oh,
shipping,
yeah.
working less than
Yeah.
30 minutes a week. And you buy their fucking program and then it's like a joke. And
Oh, it's
it makes me
good.
so mad. Ugh.
He's so because I spent a ridiculous amount of money on it. And
Mhm.
it was insane. I was like, how is this guy not in prison? Like, he literally just
Wow.
took our money, nothing with it. Yeah, I was like, where's this return? There's nothing, literally nothing. And it was, yeah. So I was a little scarred from the Amazon world there. I was like, ooh, done.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. This inspired me to work even harder to do this on my own. I'm gonna do this on my own, and I'm doing just that.
Yeah.
I'm believing in myself. Found an amazing product, and it's working itself.
I think it's also, it's a expensive lesson to learn. I'll say that. I don't know how much you spent, but it sounds like it was a lot, but it's a lesson to learn that when you have a business, I firmly believe this. I think when you have a business, you have to understand how to do at least some of the things on your own first before you can have someone else manage it for you. And I see this happen
Oh,
a lot with advertising. I have a few business friends who do Facebook ads, and I would think they're very trustworthy. However, you hear horror stories about Facebook people who will charge you thousands of dollars per month to run Facebook ads for your business. And then that's not even including the Facebook ad budget. So it's like they charge you 2,000, 3,000 a month to run the ads, plus your ad spend, which they're going to tell you, oh, you need to have $2,000 a month ad spend minimum. So you're spending $4,000 to $5,000 a month on Facebook ads. And then the people will reach out to the ad person and the agency and say, oh, well, I'm spending so much money. How do I understand the return on investment? And Facebook makes it very confusing to understand if your ads are working. It's not super straightforward. It's not intuitive. And then the ad agencies just sort of say, "Oh, it takes a little time to work, and oh, don't worry, they're working," but they're actually not
oh,
making any money, and you're just bleeding 4, 5, 6, 10 grand a month on ads that literally aren't effective at all. And it makes me really mad because oftentimes people get really burned and then somehow they find me, and then I try to help, and I'm very honest. Like, I'm honest, I'm authentic. I try to tell people, here are the ways to do things scrappily, whatever. But it's so important that you know how to do something before you outsource it. Because if people understand the concept of ads and they understand a little bit about how to read the analytics, they can figure out, okay, this agency is scamming the shit out of me, and not be
yep.
blind to it. So it really sucks that happened to you. I'm so sorry. I need to ask you some questions after. I need to know
Yeah, it's
who it is, but it's really horrible. And that happens to a lot of people. And it's really sad because those people shouldn't be allowed to sell these programs and then just not actually help you at all if that's
yeah.
what they're supposed to do. So
Oh, yeah. It was so bad. But yeah, I mean, you just really kind of have to do everything on your own. Like, because I was just trying to, like I said, do like passive income. I'm like, I don't have the time to focus on a business, because I do hair, and any hairstylists out there understand it's a lot of work. You got to come home and, also post like your, the pictures, the videos and content on social media too. It's a lot of work doing hair. But so I thought, doing that, I'm like, oh, that's easy, passive income. They market it like, oh, you're gonna make this much money and that, and I'm like, okay. And then I understood Amazon and the potential there. So
yeah.
I'm like, well, obviously this guy is like Amazon king over here. So, and he has all these clients, like show me everybody's like income. Oh, this guy made this much and this guy that much. And I'm like, okay, well, he knows what he's doing. I don't have time to work with all that. So you do you. I'm paying you to do this. And no, that backfired bad. Always do everything on your own until when you grow your business and you know the right
Yeah.
people to hire. You got to do things slowly,
I
not
know.
just like not an overnight success.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's a good lesson for, anyone listening to know, but those people, the bro marketers on YouTube, beware.
Yeah.
Well,
And on Instagram too. That's where I found him.
I get pitched a lot of things constantly from people, and I just delete. Like, I can help you make I can help you get 25 new clients a week if you just da. I just delete all of them. And a funny story, and this has nothing to do well, it has something to do with scamming, and I'll just tell it really quickly. So yesterday on Instagram, someone DM'd me, and she was like, I would love to hear your experience working with, I think it was like podcast promotion agency. And I was like, I haven't, and I wrote back and I was like, I haven't worked with them. And I was like, my podcast, oh no, they said, we were referred to you from podcast promoter agency. And I wanted to get your feedback on working with them. And I said, oh, I don't work with them. And they said, oh, they told me that they market your podcast for you. And I was so confused. And I was like,
Yeah.
no. And I was like, oh, maybe. And then I was like, the person who's editing my podcast will be laughing right now. And I was like, oh, maybe Erin, who's my podcast producer and editor, she's the one editing the podcast. I was like, maybe she started a podcast agency and she just didn't tell me. So I said, oh, I work with Erin Tafani. And she said, oh, this is like the stupidest. I don't even know why I'm sharing this. She was like, oh, is Erin part of the podcast promotion agency? And I was like, I don't know, but let me ask her really quick. And I started it was confusing. And then so the lady sent me this podcast promotion agency Instagram, and I looked at it and I was like, okay, there's no way that this is not, I can tell instantly that there's no way Erin is
Oh
part
yeah.
or started it. It was really low quality, low budget. And then this lady sent me screenshots of my podcast and statistics and numbers. These podcast people basically told this girl, oh, we helped the 6-figure product business podcast grow from 6,000 downloads to 100,000 downloads. And like, they literally took screenshots of my podcast, forged numbers, and tried to sell their services. And I got so mad. And I reported them on Instagram instantly for, I don't know if it was for scamming or something. I mean, and I told her, no, I do not work with them. I do not, like, the reason my podcast grew is because I fucking market it and I talk about it all the time and I'm consistent. I don't work with a podcast marketing agency or whatever it is. And please don't work with them. They're scammers. And then the lady was sending me messages back and forth like, oh my God, they told me that they helped you grow and they sent me screenshots. And it was just this like ridiculous conversation that happened yesterday. So anyway, the point here, people, is don't believe morons on Instagram who DM you and pitch you shitty services. They are walking red flags, and just don't. Even if they send you screenshots of things, you can make shit up. You can literally go to Google, type in Shopify dashboard, and you could literally, and this is probably what those people were doing with you. You can literally just take example dashboards of numbers and analytics and like copy and paste. You could probably create graphics in Canva with fake dashboards and analytics. So just be careful of people are horrible.
Yeah. So that's why I say, with all that from learning that being scammed, all that, just be patient and things will come when they're supposed to. The right person to do your marketing that you will probably personally know, or someone knows someone that can refer them. Everything will fall into place. You just got to be patient with growing a business. And that is the number one thing that I've learned. And it's going very well. And the right people will come into your life with helping your business if you do need the help to grow your business.
I agree. I love it. Well, thank you, Lyndi, so much. So nice to chat with you. And so nice to have you on the podcast and hear more about your story and all of your businesses that you've started. So let everyone know where they can find you and remind people where they can find your bags. So everyone needs to get a beautiful bag from Lyndi.
Oh, yes, I would appreciate it. It would mean the world to me. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram, shop dot para dot ti. So shop para t. And my website is www dot paratfor Let me
Awesome.
verify that. But I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But we'll put it in there on the screen somewhere. It should be,
Yeah.
yeah, Para for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
It's
your
all
website.
connected, but that's my website.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what?
www dot T for you. So PARATIFORYOU.com. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. We'll add links to the show notes so everyone can check it out. But yeah, thank you so much for being on. It's so nice to see you. And I will talk to you later.
Okay, chat soon.